If you're anything like me, you probably grew up believing that putting others first is noble. And while that's not wrong, there's something powerful in putting yourself first. It took me years to figure this out, and trust me, it was not an easy journey. This lesson, though, comes straight from Stoic philosophy and has had one of the most powerful impacts on my life. Here's my story of learning this truth the hard way, and why prioritizing yourself is something you should embrace. Years ago, I was the go-to person for everyone around me. If anyone needed a hand, I was there. Late-night calls, weekend plans, you name it. If someone needed something, I would drop everything to help them. In my mind, I was doing the right thing. I thought helping others first made me a good friend and an honorable person. And sure, I felt valued, needed even. But soon I realized something important was missing: my own goals and peace. Looking back, I can see it clearly. There were times when I would ignore what I wanted, maybe skip a gym session or cancel something I was excited about, just to make time for others. At the time, I didn't even see it as a problem. I thought, isn't this what being a good person is about? But the truth was, I was slowly losing myself. I had no time to do the things I loved, let alone work toward my dreams. And if I'm honest, I started to feel resentful and completely drained. But I pushed those feelings down and kept saying yes to everyone else. One day, I hit a breaking point. I was exhausted, felt like I was living for everyone else, and yet there was no one to really support me in return. That's when I turned to Stoic philosophy, and what I found surprised me. Stoicism, a philosophy from ancient Greece and Rome, teaches us that our happiness and peace depend on focusing on what we can control, like our choices, actions, and mindset. In Stoic teachings, people like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus teach that we must be the masters of our lives. When I read this, it struck a chord with me. I'd spent so much time focusing on other people's lives that I hadn't realized how much control I'd lost over my own. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and a Stoic philosopher, famously wrote in Meditations, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." I was guilty of that exact thing. I had been prioritizing others' needs and opinions above my own. Armed with this new perspective, I decided to try something revolutionary. I would start putting myself first. The first step, learning to say no. I won't lie, it was challenging at first. I felt a twinge of guilt each time I had to say, "I can't help right now," or "I need time for myself." Some friends didn't understand and even criticized me, which stung, but I had to remind myself that this wasn't about being selfish. It was about taking control of my life and making sure I had the energy and mental space for the things that mattered to me. Over time, saying no became easier, and I realized something crucial. Those who truly respected me understood and supported my choice. My true friends valued my need for space and saw that this change actually made me more present when I was there for them. And this, in turn, made my relationships stronger. By putting myself first, I found more energy, mental clarity, and a new sense of purpose. I suddenly had the time to focus on my own projects, like starting my own work, developing hobbies, and learning new skills. The goals I'd pushed aside for years were finally in the spotlight. Another benefit? Less stress. Stoicism teaches that when we let go of things we can't control, like others' expectations, we gain freedom. By letting go of the need to please everyone, I released a massive weight off my shoulders. My priorities became clear, and so did my boundaries. I no longer felt stretched thin or like I was betraying myself to keep up with everyone else's demands. If you find yourself constantly putting others first, here's my advice. Take a moment to reconnect with yourself. Ask yourself these questions. What do I want? What's important to me? Am I doing this out of obligation or because it truly aligns with my values? These questions might seem simple, but they're powerful in helping you refocus on your own needs. Here's another practice that helped me. Journaling. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, often reflected on their lives through journaling. This habit allowed me to be honest with myself and track my own growth. Writing down my thoughts helped me clarify my priorities and set boundaries that kept my energy safe. Stoic philosophy, if anything, teaches that we can't control others, but we have complete authority over our own choices. By taking care of yourself first, you're strengthening that control. Think of it like this. You're the captain of a ship. If you're not steering well, the whole ship can drift off course. You can't be fully present for anyone else if you're exhausted and emotionally drained. Prioritizing yourself is about becoming the best version of you, so you can better support the people you care about. The Stoics understood this well. They didn't advocate for a life detached from others, but one in which we are strong enough to be there for others without losing ourselves. You're not ignoring the world by putting yourself first. You're making sure you have the capacity to face the world head-on. At the end of the day, putting yourself first is a practice that's not only necessary, but deeply powerful. I had to learn this through trial and error, through the exhaustion of being a people-pleaser, and the wake-up call of realizing I'd lost myself. By applying Stoic principles, I took control of my life again, and found a peace that allowed me to be a better friend, partner, and even a better person to myself. So, if you're feeling stretched thin, or like your life isn't truly your own, take it from me. Start putting yourself first. Focus on what you can control. Set boundaries, and don't be afraid to say no when you need to. In the end, you'll find that by taking care of yourself, you're actually giving the best version of yourself to those around you. This isn't just a life lesson. It's a path to true peace, strength, and fulfillment.